hello, hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love my guests. I really absolutely love my guests. I love this woman. Thank you so much for being here, Lynn.
Thank you for having me.
Mm.
Thank you.
I'm going to quickly introduce you.
Yeah.
So this is Lynn Morgan Carpenter, and I met her through a mutual connection about, what was it, like a year ago or so?
Yeah.
About a year.
Yeah.
And just loved at this books and business event. And we really connected on something deeply embedded in the work that I do, the power of our kinesthetic and emotional intelligence. And we actually share a little bit of the journey around the power of that and how it's really impacted our lives. And we're going to get to that in a second. I'm just so happy to be here. You've become a friend, and I respect and love the work that you do as an intuitive life coach. And, you know, wisdom from within, for those of you that are just listening for the first time or returning and forgot, this is really about connecting to the power of just that wisdom from within. There is so much wisdom inside of us that can absolutely lead us as leaders in the business world, as leaders with our children and our families, as leaders within our relationships. And it's all about really connecting to our intuitive voice, our emotional intelligence, and our kinesthetic intelligence that helps us bring all of that forward. And we're going to get into all of that in a little bit, but really, this is about awakening all of that, especially in this time with AI, and really trying to understand how to work with AI that is so logically based, systematically based. And we really need to bring our hearts and souls into this work that we all, that we're creating for the world. So, wisdom from within. Talking to Lynn just about, I think, what I really want people to hear and connect with, be able to connect with, is, pieces of the stories of the guests that I bring on. What is your relationship to wisdom from within? How has it guided you in different ways? And what has happened when you haven't listened to it? Just like giving us some insight to your relationship around that wisdom and how it has served you in your life.
Yeah. I love this, Jen, and I love your work. I love your work. I have your book.
Oh, yeah.
I really do, because I know that there's such a deep importance of us as individuals to be able to connect with that inner guidance and that wisdom, and that our bodies does hold so much, and starting with and tuning into the body of allowing what we're feeling. So oftentimes I'll have people ask me, well, like, how can I get more connected to my intuition? And how can I be more connected in that way? It's connecting with often things that isn't so tangible, like you can hold in your hand. So that can cause confusion for the person of, I'm feeling something and something feels off, but I can't quite land it into something. I can't quite pick up a book and say, this is what's making me feel off.
Right.
And so by being able to start and go into the body and say, okay, where is this that I'm feeling it? And what is the wisdom, the knowledge that it has to share with me? Right. And that in practicing that, which you so beautifully, your work is allowing the world to know how to exactly do that. It's such a gift in our lives. And like you said, it leads us in every asset of our lives, business, personal, family, with our children, and so forth. So I, with being an intuitive, this is really how I lead my whole life now. It's been a journey of getting to the place where I am, but everything for me is about the wisdom that we are feeling, that intuition, and I guide and lead my entire life from that place.
How did you connect to it initially? Like, how did you even know it was a thing? Like, what is your relationship to your intuition?
Yeah. What's interesting, and I was thinking as we were preparing, because you and I have this shared experience, right, of being in a classroom and having struggles there, and feeling that I know for myself, feeling that I had so much to offer, but yet in those classrooms, that feeling often was washed away. Away. And I feel truly that due to that experience of in the classroom having those struggles, the traditional academic, that wasn't something that so naturally would come to me. I really feel that there was a shift where I would intuit through the knowledge. It was an intuition of I was almost building different neural pathways. And we'd have to have our friend Dr. Ryan to explain that. But building different neural pathways of receiving information, of understanding information. And it was through this intuitive guidance of feeling my way through it. And so I think due to that, my relationship to life was more so of, sensing in and feeling it.
Wow,
Versus
that's
from
so
intellectual. Beautiful. Yeah, from that intellectual logic, like does, 1 + 1 = 2 and so forth. So it was just a different way.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So you have this struggle in the classroom, just sort of recapping, and so your intuition sort of led you into a new way of learning and connecting to the world and people. And how did you trust it? Like, how did you know it was guiding you the right way?
Such a good question. I have to say too, in addition, which I think is such a benefit, was such a benefit and still is, and a gift that we could give our children, is that my mom would share with me about feeling and trusting and listening to when something feels off or when something feels right. And so I think also in addition to having where that, not that it was a consistent conversation, but it was something that she would impress upon me. And so I think it was wrapping that awareness around it and coming from my mom being like, okay, she's saying this is something to trust. So I honestly almost feel like it was a natural relationship in trusting that.
Yeah, that's such a powerful message for parents, to instill that in our children, because we all have it. We come into this world, highly intuitive and connected and really unapologetic, because we just trust ourselves because we don't know anything different at that time. And then slowly, life happens and that all shifts for us. And we sort of get taken away, or that intuitive trust is broken. And so what a powerful message for parents to give their children early on, that, their intuition is real and to follow that wisdom. Do you do that with your son?
I do have both my children. So my daughter, Morgan, a freshman in college. My son is a sophomore in high school, just got his driver's permit. So we're doing some big things here. And both of my kids, yes. So the beauty is that my mom gave me that gift, and it was so easily for me to transfer to my children. And so with our home now, and because how we operate, it is a common conversation in our home, common with both my children. And so then I love it when, even my son will be like, I felt this in myself. I knew it. And I'm like, this is great. And to be able to verbalize that, like really have conversation around exactly what that is and what that feels like and the power of that. Such a gift to our children.
So when you work with your clients, how do you empower them to listen to their intuition? Do you have any, examples around how that shows up, how that plays out, and like tools that, or a tool you can share?
Yes. So I highly believe in the power of a self-connected practice. So I really encourage my clients that ideally this is something that we do daily, because it builds the muscle. And even if it's starting out for only 5 or 10 minutes, often it feels so good, it goes into a longer session for themselves. But whether that's in the morning, at your lunch break, or in the evening, it's where you come home to yourself. And I like to do this. I recommend for my clients to go through a guided meditation and then sit in the energy of that and anything that's coming through, and then journal.
Yeah.
journal, because even in the meditation, if they feel that I don't really know if much came up for me, when they start to write and journal, there can be this experience where so much just starts to open up and flow. And they're like, whoa, I didn't realize that was in there.
Yeah.
And in doing that, I feel like what that meant, because even for myself, when my personal intuition went to an entire new level is when I adopted meditation. And then helping them that if they receive visuals, if they receive words, that they then can hold on to that, and then really helping them to go into the trust, because then the next level is trusting it.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you, because there's a lot of people that are just like, I can't meditate, I can't get there. I don't know what I'm reaching for.
Mm-hmm.
So like what kinds of things as a, beginner meditator?
Yeah. I first would recommend, number one, letting a person know there's no right or wrong. So I think often the hiccup can be a person will go into meditation when they're starting and they're like, oh, I'm not getting it. And that just screws the whole thing up. And so I would tell people there's not a right or wrong, and to allow yourself, give yourself the time to go into it. And even if you have thoughts that come in and you start to go into the squirrel mind, that push that away. And in time that they'll start to experience it to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And what I often will recommend people to do, start, even if it's just a 5-minute guided meditation, just start there. Mm-hmm. And then after that, 2 questions. Where, when you're doing that guided meditation, or even after, where in your body are you feeling constricted? Because typically that can start, because it's more tangible, like, oh, my shoulders are feeling really tense right now. And then I'll guide them, journal about that. What is the tension there? If that tension could speak, what would it have to say? Well, it's tied to my work or this stressful situation I'm in right now. Then the opposite is, where in your body are you feeling expanded? And things say, oh, in my stomach, I'm feeling really, really good here. And I'm feeling like I have some strength. What is that coming from? So I like to connect really that process, like what you do here. And that's why I love your work so much. But it's starting out, if you can connect it to your body, that's usually a really good place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so curious more about you and like your journey coming into this work, and just as an intuitive coach. I mean, this is your expertise, and guiding people into that trust, building that trust. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about how you did. And were there times where you didn't listen to your gut, where you heard something and you did the opposite and then you regretted it?
Yes, of course. I think all of us will have that experience. And when we have those experiences, they help us, right? Because we'll go back and say, I knew different. I knew better. I knew I should have, done that. And I didn't. So, I think what is so important is that all of us, we have these knowings. We have these messages, whatever you want to call them, that will come in. And then the logical mind or other reasonings can come in and shift that away. I'll share this for whatever reason it's coming up for me right at this moment in time, because also this ended up becoming a huge shift in my life. So my father, who is deeply connected to, very close with, was going through some health situations, and he was having some back issues and actually having some vertebrae that were fracturing. And we were going through the process. He had it happen once, did a recovery, happened again. So when I was in the doctor, I remember so specifically, I had this feeling, this energy, this message of, he needs a PET scan. And I didn't offer that up. But it landed.
How did you hear that?
So for myself, often it comes from my right side. And at this time, I didn't realize it, but now I do, because this was, a good handful of years ago. But it comes from our right side, and it just will it's almost as if there's a car that's driving and it comes right here and pauses. So it just comes right there. And so now I know today, like when that happens and it's repeated, then I listen to that and I'll offer that with my client or the person with, what have you. So I did not verbalize that with anyone. And it was a couple of years later that my dad started to have some other health situations. We thought it was a food poisoning, then maybe the flu. Then I thought, well, maybe it's a gallbladder issue, and it ended up being pancreatic cancer.
Oh.
And so it was very unexpected. Like he was doing well, and then it was like he has 3 to 6 months to live.
Oh.
So yeah. So going on that journey with my dad, I have a medical background. So I was really the lead of his medical care. And he got, he was told 3 to 6 months. We got 7. And it was on the other side of his passing that my intuitive knowings and connection just went to a whole new level. And so that's when I stepped into helping people in a different way and really going into the intuitive world.
Wow. Oh my gosh. First of all, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I feel that so deeply. And I'm curious, do you ever, and I hope it's okay that I ask
Yes,
that.
Of course.
I'm just curious. You said that your intuitive sort of guidance and your trust and all of that really went to another level after that experience. So do you ever like look back at that and just say that was really there to teach me and to push me into this work? Because that's such an extreme scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. For sure. I absolutely do. Because the other part of that is my life was really amazing. It still is amazing. But I had some really wonderful things in my life. I had this big profession, surrounded by really incredible, talented people. My kids were young, my marriage, my family, like everything was just rock solid, great. And then I went through that journey with my dad. And on the other side of it, I so wanted, because I took a little pause. My profession is where I could take a pause, really lean into my parents and help them with my father's care. And so then when he passed, my whole intention was to dive right back into that life. And I eagerly wanted it because it was so much better than the 7 months that I experienced, because that was tough. And so I went back and said, like, I'm here, I'm ready to go back into this. And it was as if everything had shifted, and there was a big shift inside my internal system. And I then was being called to do a reorganization. And it launched me into who I am today, which is doing my coaching and serving and helping those with their intuitive guidance and providing that for them. So that's catalyst. I mean, the whole thing around my dad was a huge gift into who I am today.
Who you are today. That is so, so incredibly beautiful. And I'm wondering for like those that are listening, and also I will share that my dad, as you know, passed away yesterday, but I'm here because, talk about being led. I was led to come and have this conversation with you because I need to stay connected to this work, and I need to continue to serve in this way, because that, just sort of that pull and that connection to this is so, so important. Anyway, the point is that when we lose someone that we love, there can be so much magic in that, in terms of crossing us over and into an awakening and expansion of some sort. And I'm just so curious about, for people that are listening, what you would say at a crossroads like that, whether someone is, experiencing loss or a massive transition in some way, how to really lean in and listen to guidance that might be coming up, signs that are happening around, to try as hard as it is, to get out of the darkness. That's why I'm here, because I want to be in the light and learn and expand, right? So what would you say to someone, gifting them almost as if what they're dealing with is an opportunity?
Oh, it's such an opportunity. It's such an opportunity. And I really feel that it's through loss. And that can happen, in different ways for people. Loss of a career, loss of a marriage, loss, and, big ones are loss of a loved one. I think because it comes with deep rooted pain, from love or hurt, that the gift in that is I know, like for myself, it was almost like a death in itself and then a rebirth from that. What I say for you with this beautiful work, and you're feeling called, to follow that and that's the beauty. My personal experience, I almost had to do like a surrender because what became very apparent, it took a little while, but again, the message from this right side came in and it said, it's time for you to surrender because what's trying to emerge needs you to almost take a step back in order for you to become aware of what it is. So I would say, and again, it's leaning in and learning, allowing yourself to receive what it is that your body, your wisdom is trying to tell you. And if it's pouring yourself into something, is beautiful, like your work, then you do that. If it's, man, this is feeling off and it's not working, and when I'm here, I feel displaced and I don't feel like myself, and it just feels like I'm navigating the world with two left hands, so to speak. My guidance for that would be just wherever you can in your life, take a step back. Maybe it's taking some extra naps. For myself, it was through the act of sleeping that really allowed me to start to open up space and receive more understanding of what was trying to emerge. That was the next level of my life, really.
Yeah. Wow. What a beautiful, I'm so glad that we've arrived at this place in our conversation, because, we all experience transition in lots of different ways. And sometimes it can feel, many times, like extremely overwhelming. And so to reframe, like you're saying, to lean in and listen and pause and take a nap or do whatever, one might think, oh my God, your father passed away yesterday and you're doing this thing, but that's what my body told me to do. Yeah. Right. And so sometimes we go against the grain of what people think is normal or natural. And so it's just, that's the power of these conversations and this practice on Wednesdays at 1:00 every week, to really empower that voice, right? To empower what is coming through us, because it's unique and it's unlike anything else. So we do have to chart that course alone, right? Don't you think that can be hard?
It can be so hard. And as you're saying that, it's like, we are on our own individual unique paths.
Right.
And, we can often get inundated with, well, maybe you should do this, or this would probably be good for you, or what have you. But that's, again, the practice of the trust of going in and saying, what is it that I'm being called to right now? What is it that I'm being shown? What is it that I know or I'm feeling? And do that. But it can be easily, swayed by the judgments of others or what others perceive or their feedback. And so that's where in this, connecting to the wisdom of your body and the wisdom of our knowing can get challenging when we start to pin it on these outside experiences or forces. And so it is such a practice of bringing it in, and it's in that individual knowing of what is best for self and then trusting and doing that, having the courage to do it. And sometimes it takes bravery and it takes courage.
I love that so much. And as someone who created the power of gesture, you just did these beautiful gestures that I want to reflect back to you and offer the listeners. You know, you said you did this like knowing. It's sort of, and the knowing is like the center of us, the heart center of us, the core of us, right? So doing this, you said, paraphrasing, but you said, you know, connecting really with that knowing. And then you did something towards the heart because, right, that's our truth and our love and our compassion. And then trust and courage. I think you did another gesture in there too. It was like this, and then it was like this, and then there was one other gesture going on. But it was just so beautiful how you did that. And that can also reinforce the journey, right? Embodying that journey of knowing, trusting, allowing, and stepping in with the courage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I love that.
That's right. I love, I remember you and I did an individual session that was beautiful. And I just feel like this is important for the listeners.
Yeah.
And why your work is so important and it works is that I remember I showed up to our session and I was having difficulties expressing what it was because I was fresh off of something. And I'm like, something's off. I know it, but I'm struggling putting the words to it right now.
Right.
And we went through the power of gesture. And then as we were doing it, all of a sudden the language and the words came flying in. Wow. And I remember I paused you and I said, oh, I actually have language for this. Can I express it now? And so then I could verbally get those words out and connect it too. So it was through the activation of the body that connected me to the language of it that then could be expressed. So I was like, that is big.
That's huge. I hope I got to write that one down. That is, I'm glad this is recorded.
It's so powerful.
Really good. And also knowing that I love that the words came, and that is so beautiful. And also knowing that if the words don't come, that's okay too. Yes. Because, right, the body has its own language. And if the body understands, the body can help us process and heal and move to wherever it is, the knowing, the wisdom, so that we can like lead, you know, in all the ways of our life, have that clarity. Sometimes we don't have the words, and that's really okay. And that's another reason why courage is so important in all of this work, right? Because it's so, being in an intuitive like yourself, you have to really be able to stand in your own voice because it's uniquely yours. And as an intuitive, you're not following anybody else's path. You're only following your own.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
courage
right.
is a real pillar.
Yes. Yes. And deep trust. And that's the thing with, you know, the guidance you receive, that intuition, that inner voice, what have you. It's trusting. It requires such a sense of trust.
Yeah.
And I'm just making this connection that's where I feel that in your work, it absolutely is a bridge in being able to lean into that trust because it's connected to the body. So there's something there that really fosters then the trust. And so then it becomes easier as a person's navigating their life. And they're like, oh, I'm feeling this. Oh, that's the wisdom that's dropping in. I trust it.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, it's kind of like, you know, when you go to the gym and you start working out and you start seeing like your body change or your mind, your energy, it's lifted and you're like, oh, this is working. I want to do more and more and more. And this becomes like this, that's your motivator, right? It's the same thing with the wisdom. Once you follow your intuition, once you follow what seems like a tough choice, but you make it and it's the right one, you're like, oh, that feels really good. Because that's when we elevate. That's when we're like, oh, I heard it. I trusted it. I had the courage to let it lead. It led me to the right place. I'm going to do this more often. And it's a cycle that we're constantly, right? So when we work that muscle, when we have the courage to continue, the courage that we need almost becomes like second nature after a while, because we see the success of what happens by following our gut and trusting ourselves.
Absolutely. And all of that leads to a word that I know you and I both are endeared by and deeply connected to, and that's empowerment.
Yeah.
It leads to our individual, authentic power.
Yes.
Yes.
I love it. Oh my
Yes.
God, Lynn Carpenter. I am I wish we lived close.
I do too. I do too. Because
Well, we're gonna, yeah,
yes,
because
we would be getting together and doing some great things. But
no. Well, we're gonna
yeah,
do great things no matter what together. Like this. Um,
absolutely.
this is really about the service, people
Yes.
listening and hearing it and hopefully unlocking and trusting and trying, just stepping into all of that. So I thank you so much. I really, really do. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, Lynn Morgan Carpenter. I'm also on LinkedIn. My website's lynnmorgancarpenter.com. And this is just such a joy. I feel like there are so many offshoots of conversations that I would love to bring to our audiences.
Absolutely. We will continue to do it. This is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. And I just want to say my heart and soul is so with you right now of the experience that you just went through and navigated with the loss of your father. And I'm definitely here if you need anything. And there's going to be such knowledge and transformation that will occur on the other side that will open you up even to more of that bountiness that we're here to and meant to experience. There's an expansion. So I'll tell you for myself, there's an expansion of my soul that happened through that experience with my father that I'm forever grateful for.
Yeah.
It was so hard to lose him, but he gave me a huge gift.
Yeah.
Huge gift.
Beautiful.
And I know the true will be for you. The same will be for you.
I thank you for that. I do, and I believe that. I already feel it. And that we could have another follow-up conversation on that, because that's a beautiful one to have and share.
Yes.
And so thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. I adore you. And thank you for being here. And thank you to the listeners for everyone. You got something out of it. Okay.
Absolutely. I love you. I adore you.
I will see you. Listeners, come back, please, please, please. Next week, every Wednesday, 1:00, Wisdom from Within, live streamed everywhere. And if you're interested in being a guest and you have a story, because we all have stories, and that's how we heal and expand and learn and grow and all the things, please reach out to me. Email me at jen@genax.com, and I would love to have you as a guest. So just reach out to me, and that's it. Okay, see you next week.
Love you. Bye-bye.